Well, hello again, Lucy and Conrad and Caleb. Are y'all ready for another X-Men adventure? This really is the continuation of the other adventure when the X-Men confront the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Well, the Evil Mutants are back again, and this time they've got some clever plans to capture the X-Men. And remember, at the end of our last story, Professor X had lost his mental powers during one of the blasts that Magneto had left as a booby trap for the X-Men. Oh my, what will they do without their leader? Well, let's look at the comic and see what happens. This will be a great story for us. Here's the front cover. We looked at it before when we see that Angel is trapped and he's looking through a glass window while the X-Men attack the evil mutants. And so the heading says Magneto and the evil mutants more dangerous than ever. Strike again. So here's a recap. Last issue, while battling Magneto and his evil mutants, Professor Xavier was injured and seemed to have lost his great mental powers. Now the saddened X-Men return to their headquarters. Never have you, the reading public, been so instantly fascinated by a group of super powerful villains as last issue when you met Magneto's evil mutants. Now we present them again, more exciting, more unpredictable, more dangerous than ever. But here are our X-Men. Cyclops, the field leader with his powerful I-beams. Marvel Girl, whose mental powers of telekinesis can move objects at will. The Flying Angel, Iceman, and the agile, powerful Beast. And here's Professor X, who is the leader, but he is without his mental powers. What will happen to them? So let's join the X-Men as they return to their school building. Iceman finds the door locked. And Iceman says, I can't get my key unless I defrost. Hey, Cyclops, I can use you. Hit the keyhole with that power beam of yours to unlock the door. Hey, not so fast. If you miss the door, it's goodbye, Iceman. But look, Cyclops can focus his I-beam so that it unlocks the door. That's a handy trick to have around. Iceman says, boy, it's good to be back again. If only the professor were okay. Marvel Girl says, I'll lift him into his sitting room. It's the easiest way. So she uses her power of telekinesis to lift him up. Angel says, slowly, Jean. You've all the time in the world. Don't jostle him. The Beast swings up in the air and says, let me remove his jacket before you put him down. You did an exemplary job, Marvel Girl. Cyclops says, now set him down gently, gently. Angel has flown around the building. He says, I checked the entire building. Everything is as we left it. We haven't been discovered yet. Iceman says, it sure seems strange to see him sleeping that way, just like any normal Homo sapiens. It makes me feel so alone. Marvel Girl says, I know what you mean, Iceman. From now on, we will be alone for the first time without the professor to guide us and help us. Cyclops says he spent countless hours training us to use our powers, Jean. Now we've got to prove we were worthy of that training. The Angel says, we've got to continue his fight against the evil mutants, but without him to lead us, it will be an uphill job, Hank. Hank says, we can't remain leaderless. Perhaps we should wait. I hear a sound in the driveway. A car is approaching. The Beast jumps up onto the ceiling. Look, his toes are so strong he can hold onto the ceiling and hang upside down. Angel asks, who is it, Beast? Have the evil mutants found us? No, says the Beast. It appears to be. It is. It's Marvel Girl's parents. Oh my word. What a time for a parents visit, right? Marvel Girl says, I forgot. They said they'd drop in for a visit on the way to the World's Fair. Quick, we've got to get back to normal. Iceman says, don't worry, Jean. We won't give our secret away. As Iceman slides across the floor. I hope the ice is melted before Jean's parents walk in the room. What do you think? And there goes bounding the Beast, and Angel is flying, says, move guys, let's shed these costumes on the double. Bobby says, it'll only take a few seconds to defrost and change from Iceman to plain Bobby Drake. Warren, however, has more work to do. He says, it's great the way the professor developed this harness to hide my wings under a suit. So once again, the Angel becomes the devil-may-care young blue blood Warren Worthington III. Yeah, so Warren comes from a wealthy family. Hank McCoy says, I'm always relieved when I can divest myself of my costume. Actually, I don't really care for the identity of the Beast. I much prefer being Hank McCoy, honor student, although fate never lets me remain that way for long. And then Scott says, I wonder if anyone would dare come near quiet Scott Summers if they knew that when I remove my protective glasses, the destructive power beam of Cyclops is unleashed upon the world. And then here comes Jean. As far as any of our parents know, we are all students at a progressive private school, and actually that much is true. But being normal Homo sapiens, how could mom or dad understand that their daughter, Jean Grey, is really Marvel Girl? And then she opens the door and there's her mom and dad. Hello, Jean dear. We've only a few minutes, but we did want to visit you. Jean says, Mother, Dad, what a wonderful surprise. Moments later, after introducing her fellow students, Warren says, a real pleasure meeting you, Mr. and Mrs. Grey. We're sorry Professor Xavier can't be with us, but he's, unavoidably detained. Mr. Grey says, I understand, my boy. I feel I know you all so well. The professor writes to us every week, telling us of your progress. He is certainly a wonderful man. And look at this group. They all look so normal. Mr. Grey continues, when he first asked if Jean could attend your school, we were a bit hesitant. But then when we were contacted by Washington, D.C., recommending your course so highly, we knew it was the best thing for our daughter. Mrs. Grey reaches out towards Scott. And we were so impressed to learn that some of your courses are classified top secret by the government. Oh, what interesting sunglasses. I've never seen that type. But Scott recoils. He says, no, don't touch them. I'm sorry, ma'am. It's just that I have a slight eye infection. I'm sure you understand. Good save. Hank thinks, I must change the subject quickly, lest we arouse their suspicions. Hank says, we'd enjoy showing you our building, Mr. and Mrs. Grey. This is our gym. We're getting new equipment next week. Mr. Grey said, oh, I wondered why it was so empty. Scott says, clever of Hank. We couldn't very well admit that this is our danger room where we train. And now if you'd like to see our lunchroom and study hall, and they leave, and they close the door. Scott says, wait, don't shut that door. It's too late. They forgot about me. The door's time lock has me trapped inside, but the danger apparatus is set on automatic. That means the testing devices will begin to operate any second. Oh no! Scott is in the danger room, trapped. What will the danger room do? Well, look, he says they've started. It was the Beast training period next. These are his special survival problems. And of course, they're to test Beast's agility. Well, Cyclops isn't so agile. What will he do? Look at all these weapons that are being tossed at him. And here comes the floor is actually recoiling and throwing him up in the air. He says the floor just snapped up to test the beast's agility. Grabbing this trapeze may save me. Oh no, it was the wrong move. The trapeze was a dummy. It snapped. The beast would have leaped to the other side of the room. But what's this? Look, here comes rolling. Wow, a big old pipe with wheels, and it's very heavy. A giant iron roller rushing towards me. I can't dodge it the way the beast might. Only time for one thing. So he raises up his glasses, his eye beam shoots out, and he destroys the iron roller. I hate to destroy that expensive piece of apparatus with my power beam, but I had no other choice. None of us are as quick on our feet as the beast. Then, as the remaining minutes of the period tick by, my power beam is growing weaker, says Cyclops. If the test doesn't end soon, I'll never have to worry about menacing innocent people with my eyes again. And so he keeps shooting his eye beams out, trying to destroy these many obstacles that are coming his way. Fortunately for Scott Summers and for the world at large, the test does end soon, and the automatic lock mechanism unlatches the door. It's over. Lucky the danger room is soundproofed. Jean's parents couldn't have heard anything. Typical of the caliber of the X-Men is the fact that even in his moment of trial, the youth known as Cyclops thinks first of others. But he staggers out of the room. He replaces his quartz-lined sunglasses, his protective sunglasses, and returns into the school. So, Jean's parents are driving off. Her mother says, such a lovely school, and what fine, clean-cut youngsters. It was a most pleasant visit. Mr. Gray says we should be proud of our daughter. Imagine winning a free scholarship to a great school like that. But as Mr. and Mrs. Gray drive off, they fail to notice a silent, brooding figure who slowly walks past the mysterious complex of school buildings. Mrs. Gray says, sorry we couldn't say hello to Professor Xavier. He's such a charming man. Mr. Gray says, he has more than charm, dear. Something about him gives a person a feeling of confidence in him. He almost seems to know what you're thinking. And of course, he does. But look who's there. Mr. Gray continues, I would like to know what the school's connection with the government is. Perhaps they're teaching a special secret science course. Oh well, I suppose we'll find out someday. But as the car drives away, the lone pedestrian stops, searching, seeking, probing the neighborhood with cold, merciless, unblinking eyes. Do you recognize him? Yes, it's Mastermind, one of the evil mutants. What is he doing there? This is the evil mutant known as Mastermind, with power to create images so real that all who see them believe in them. Mastermind, who owes his allegiance to Magneto, leader of those who plan to take dominion of Earth from the human race. Mastermind says, it's no use. The X-Men are too well hidden. No matter where I search, there is no trace of them. How ironic. He's right there at the school, but he doesn't know where he is. Then, operating a small magnetic device on his wrist, Mastermind contacts his leader. Results still negative, Magneto. Awaiting further orders. Magneto says, return at once. We shall try a different plan. That is all. Then moments later, in a lonely field, here comes a plane. Mastermind waves it down. He thinks it's lucky that all of Magneto's planes operate on magnetic energy. There's no chance of anyone hearing them. Once he's in the plane, he says, "Take me back to headquarters, Quicksilver. I have decided to return." Well, Quicksilver says, "You don't fool me, Mastermind. I was tuned into your wavelength. It was Magneto who decided, as always." Minutes later, the silent ship reaches a jagged asteroid circling the Earth. But upon drawing near, we see that it is more than just a simple asteroid, much, much more. In fact, it's Asteroid M. It's the secret hiding place for Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Quicksilver to Asteroid M. Request permission to land. Over. Asteroid M to Quicksilver. Permission granted. Follow landing Plan B. Wow, look at it. A giant asteroid equipped with all kinds of scientific equipment. Within seconds, two dramatic figures step through the airlock. Here comes the Toad. "They're here, Magneto. I'll go and welcome them." Quicksilver says, "Look out, it's that brainless Toad." And here comes the Toad, bouncing all around, creating all kinds of havoc. Toad says, "Did you find them? Did you destroy the X-Men? Tell me, tell me." Moving at dazzling speed, the mutant called Quicksilver easily avoids the Toad's unorthodox greeting, but the slower-moving Mastermind is not so fortunate. Blast that unbearable freak. He'll pay for this. At a single gesture from the angry mutant, an image is created, an illusion which seems so real that it stops Toad in his tracks. So Mastermind projects an image, an hallucination, and the Toad says, "I can't move. I'm all wrapped up in a heavy cloth. Get me out of here. Help!" And so even though it's just an illusion, Toad's mind is confused enough that he stops bouncing around. As the Toad's hysterical cry reaches the ears of Magneto, he says, "Mastermind, dispel your illusion instantly at the command of Magneto." And so Magneto and the Scarlet Witch appear. Mastermind says, "There, it's gone. But warn your brainless stooge that I won't be so gentle next time." Toad says, "Don't let him get away with that, Master. Punish him. Punish him." Magneto says, "Silence, both of you. We have more important problems than your own petty bickering." After weeks of searching, we have still found no traces of our mortal enemies, the X-Men. Toad says, "It's their fault. They're all failures. Only I am truly loyal to you, Master." Mastermind said, "You said you had a new plan. What is it?" Magneto says, "I will tell you in my own good time. Meanwhile, you be silent. Do you understand, Toad?" "Yes, yes, Master. Whatever you say, Magneto." Quicksilver says, "I say forget the X-Men. We escaped them once. They won't bother us again." "I agree with my brother Quicksilver," says Wanda. Magneto says, "Quiet. Remember your place. Not even the Scarlet Witch nor Quicksilver can dictate to Magneto. I alone make decisions for our band." So long as the X-Men live, so long as they are sworn to protect mankind, then we are never truly safe. Only they stand between us and the conquest of the human race. And remember, the humans are your sworn enemies. They would destroy you if they could. Pietro says, "We remember. You never let us forget that, do you?" As he holds his sister, Wanda. Magneto says, "Never. And now for my plan. I shall use the Toad to trap the X-Men. Come here, you sniveling dolt." "Me, Master? What do you want me to do? Tell me." "Of course I'll tell you. And if you fail, if you make one careless mistake, you'll face the wrath of Magneto, most powerful of all the mutants. Never forget that, any of you." Meanwhile, back at Professor Xavier's school, Bobby says, "Hey Scott, there's a great track meet on TV. How about watching it with us? Scott says, track meet. Professor X has lost his powers. We don't know when the evil mutants will strike next. And all you have on your juvenile mind is a track meet? And so he uses his I-beam to slam the door. And Bobby says, okay, I can take a hint. And Scott says, and don't come back until you grow up. Bobby is sitting on the floor outside, says, boy, what a grouch. That guy thinks it's a sin to smile or have any fun. Hank says, don't take umbrage at Cyclops, Bobby. He can't alter his psychological makeup. Hank is starting to throw around some big words. We're beginning to realize that Hank is quite smart, as well as being brawny and agile. Warren is in the living room. He's got the TV turned on. He says, come on, Hank, have some hot chocolate. Wait till you see this race. And Professor X is there too in his wheelchair. And Jean is saying, there, Professor, we don't want you to get a chill while watching TV. You'll be more comfortable now. Hank thinks, poor Professor X, how lamentable that his once super brilliant brain is now merely that of a normal human's. And Warren says, look, there's the fella I wanted you to see. He's bringing up the rear. Don't take your eyes off him. So now we're watching TV. And Bobby says, what's so special about him? He's the slowest one of all. He runs terribly. Warren says it's not his running that's important. Keep watching. You'll see what I mean any second now. So look at number 7. He's in the back. Look at what he's about to do. All of a sudden, there, says Warren, there he goes. Look at that. Did you ever see anything like it? He's been winning every event by hopping over the others. Hop, hop, hop. Who does that remind you of? We know who that is in disguise. Then it must be Bobby says, you're right, Warren. It's uncanny. No normal person could leap like that. And so he leaps over the high jump without even using a pole vault. Warren says, look at the crowd. They can't believe their eyes. Even the people on the field are incredulous. He's competing in every event. Wow, a broad jump like that will more than double the world record. Look how far he can leap. And even in the steeplechase, he's winning. Okay, tell me, says one of the X-Men, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Of course, there's no other answer. He's a mutant like we are. He has to be. And look at the crowd. They're livid with rage. Just like Professor X always warned us, normal humans fear and distrust anyone with super mutant powers. They're calling him fake. They feel it must be a trick of some sort. They want to believe that. It makes them feel less inferior. And so look, the crowds are throwing things at this toad in disguise. They realize something is wrong. Meanwhile, back at the school, Hank says, we can't just leave him there to face the wrath of the mob alone. Shut off the TV. Let's move. Bobby says, Hank's right. If he's a fellow mutant, we've got to help him. Warren says, we've got to help anyone who's in trouble. That's our oath. But, of course, the X-Men don't realize it's their enemy, the Toad. They just think it's a new mutant with special leaping powers. So they're going to go rescue him. Jean says, but what about the professor? The professor says, don't worry about me, my dear. I'll be all right here. Just remember, I can't follow you mentally. I won't be able to help you. But Warren says, we'll do okay, sir. We'll make you proud of us. You'll see. Meanwhile, at the stadium nearby, the mob grows angrier by the minute. And so the mob is saying, the races were all phony. Let's teach that fraud he can't trick us. We'll make him tell us how he did it. It has to be some kind of hoax, and they're all coming after uh, the, uh, the, the Toad. Just as the shouting crowd is about to close in, the Toad says, "Hey, what?" And the angel swoops him up, says, "Don't squirm, fella, you're heavy enough." But here comes the beast. He's thinking, he's too heavy. The angel can't fly far enough with him. I'll have to hold the crowd back to give him a respite. So he comes somersaulting through the crowd. He says, "Take a breather, Angel. I'll act as a buffer for you." Angel says, "Thanks, beast. I can use the break." Then as Angel takes to the air again, here come the other X-Men in a convertible. And Cyclops says, "The car won't help us, Marvel Girl. The crowd is pressing in from all sides. We can't run them down." Marvel Girl says, "What will we do? We can't let that mutant be taken from us." And the Iceman puts up an ice wall, but he says this ice wall won't hold them back forever. And here comes the angel, barely able to carry the heavy Toad. Angel says, "I can't stay aloft with him much longer." The beast says, "We've only one recourse. Run!" Seeing the strange, colorful figures racing towards them, the crowd falls back for a moment in shock, giving the X-Men and their fellow mutant a chance to get clear. Marvel Girl says, "There's a subway station just ahead. Hurry!" So here they all come, racing down the street. Angel is flying. The Toad is hopping. And they're all moving as quickly as they can in their own special way. Hank says, "Hop in quickly. We'll hold the doors open." This was a veritable hair's breadth escape. Scott says, "All clear. Once in the train, we'll be safe." And so the Toad hops into the subway. Now that they're in the subway, they're surrounded by the public, but they're still in their costumes. The people say, look who it is." Marvel Girl says, "See how everyone is staring at us." Scott says, "Ignore it, Marvel Girl. We paid our fare just like anyone else." But the beast is thinking. He says, "There's something vaguely familiar about you, my friend. Something disturbingly familiar." But the fella says, "Impossible. I never met you before." So the beast reaches out and grabs him. He says, "Wait, now I know. The way you hopped. Only one mutant has that ability, the evil one called the Toad." Cyclops says, "Don't, beast, you'll hurt him. Say it is the Toad." And so now the X-Men have realized what we have known all along. It's the Toad disguised as a track runner. He had done this just to get them out in the open. The Toad says, "Blast you, I almost had you fooled." And as soon as the subway stops and the doors open, he bounds away and he escapes. Look at him hopping swiftly, quickly, getting away from the X-Men. He says, "But you can't hold me. I'll escape from all of you." Iceman realizes it must have been Magneto's scheme to find our headquarters. He would have succeeded if we had taken the Toad back with us. Get him! So now the Toad is on the run and running back to his teammates in the evil Brotherhood. Will the X-Men catch up with him? Will the evil Brotherhood catch up with the X-Men? What's going to happen in the next half of this story? We know that the Angel is going to get trapped. Goodness gracious, I can't wait to read the rest of the story. What about you? Well, I'll be back to tell it to you as soon as I can. Love y'all very much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.